Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you for this next album review. I'm sorry for the wait for this album review. I was kind of playing a video game for a little bit. This is going to be for Imminence, the Return of the Black album that I got a chance to listen to for myself. It's like a deluxe edition to the album The Black from last year. That came out April 12th of 2024. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for this metalcore orchestrated album that I listened to and let you know my thoughts on this 18-track record, which is an 84-minute album. So let's dive into this album review. Now this is a deluxe edition for the Black album, keep in mind, but I'm considering it an album since it's more condensed. Has a little extra songs in it too. Now it starts with God-Fearing Man, which is a strong track. I really like the screaming vocalist's screams in this track. Sound really good, and his regular singing is pretty solid. So really enjoyed this track for sure. This is a definite 5 out of 5. I like the violin work in this too. It sounds really nice and works with the metalcore style of what they're going for with this track overall. So great song. I think they dropped a music video for this song overall. So Eddie Berg is the vocalist's name that I just looked up just recently. So basically Eddie Berg's the violinist and the vocalist as well. So that's pretty cool that he's doing both for this band. But other than that, 5 out of 5. Come Hell or High Water is a strong track. I like the violin work in this, and Eddie Berg's vocals and his violin work are pretty strong in this track. I just had to look this up recently, so I had to make sure that I was looking up the right info on it. So basically, Come Hell or High Water was on the regular edition for the Black. It was the opening track for that record. But this one was pretty good. It's not one of the best, but just the vocals from Eddie Berg are a little lazy from time to time, but nothing terrible. Still was good, but it was more melodic and not up my alley. So 4.75 out of 5. It's still a strong track in its own way. It just has its issues with how the vocals are sounding. Desolation, strong track for sure. I really like this one. This is a strong 5 out of 5 for me for this track. It was a great song. I liked it from start to finish. The screaming vocals from Eddie Berg were pretty strong for sure. And execution-wise, the guitar work and drum work was quite excellent for sure. So this is a strong 5 out of 5, like I said a moment ago. Heaven Shall Burn was on the regular edition of the Black. I think it was the third song in the record, but it was a strong track for sure. 5 out of 5 for this one. I love the choir chants, and just the orchestrated melody was pretty strong. And just execution-wise, this track pulled it off for what it was going for. 5 out of 5. Beyond the Pale is another strong track for sure. Really enjoyed how this track sounded overall, and execution-wise, it performed pretty well with Eddie Berg's vocals, and his violin work in it was pretty solid. 5 out of 5. Death by a Thousand Cuts is the 6th song on the record for the Return of the Black version. So basically, Death by a Thousand Cuts tends to get a little repetitious with some of the chorus and relying on a little too much with the vocals from Eddie Berg. They're not terrible, but they're not the best. But still, the screaming vocals are the highlight to this overall song. So 4.75 out of 5. Come What May is a strong track too. Really like this one. Like the violin work and the drum work and guitar work is pretty strong. And just execution-wise, Eddie Berg's vocals really pulled it off for this one. So 5 out of 5. Cul-de-sac, I believe is how you pronounce it, but I'm not sure. Another strong track for sure. Really dug how it was mixed and executed, and pretty much this track pulled it off for what it was going for. Great song for sure. The violin work and orchestrated melody was pretty strong. Eddie Berg's vocals are outstanding for this song, and 5 out of 5 is deserving for it. Death Shall Have No Dominion is another extra track for this Return of the Black record, and I really enjoyed this as a single, and I still enjoy it. It was a great song. I think I put it on my best songs of February 2025, but it was worthy to be on that list because it was that great of a song. Screaming vocals, the melody was great, the haunting, orchestrated melody was amazing, and the violin work was pretty strong. 5 out of 5. The Call of the Void is another great song for sure. Really enjoyed how this sounded. I really dug the overall style to this track with what it was going for, and just execution wise, it did pull it off pretty well. 5 out of 5 for sure. And Eddie Berg's vocals were pretty outstanding in this track. Really dug this track too. Continuum was a great song too. I'd give this a 5 out of 5 as well. I really enjoyed the production, the mixing, and just execution wise, it just pulled it off for what it was going for as well. Pretty much Eddie Berg's vocals were the highlight to this song. Just the melody was very haunting too, so really enjoyed that aspect about the track. 5 out of 5. La Pelle Duvide, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's a pretty good song in its own way. It's kind of like a short instrumental track in its own way, but it's not terrible. It sounds pretty strong for what it went for. So 4.75 out of 5. I think this was one of the instrumental tracks, but it was still strong for what it went for. So yeah, 4.75 out of 5 for this one. The title track, The Black, from the album The Black, was a very good second to last song for the regular edition, but it still was a strong track in its own way. I really dig this song. 5 out of 5 for sure. I really liked the vocals from Eddie Berg, and just execution wise, this track pulled it off for what it was going for, with the melody, the instrumentation, the violin work. It did very well. So Lenore is a strong track too to close out the record for the regular edition, and it is a great track that was on The Black as the closing track. But we're going to mention the other 4 tracks in a second, and then I'm going to give you my overall rating in a moment. So pretty much it's a 5 out of 5 for this one. Come Hell or High Water, the remix version, it's not terrible, but it's not one of the best that I've heard. So it's a 4.75 out of 5 for this one. The mixing has its quirkiness and corniness, but nothing to the extent where it's that bad. So 4.75 out of 5. The Black, the remix version for it, not terrible. I think it has a feature artist for the remix version, but it's not terrible. And some of these songs did have to basically go back and look into it. You do find out that some of these songs do have featured artists in this record, like Scott Kennedy. There are some other ones, but I can't think of them right now. But yeah, pretty much him and some other featured artists as well. But other than that, I think The Black, the remix version, was pretty strong. 5 out of 5. And then the Belvic, or whatever is how it is. It's called The Black, but it's with a V in it. Another good remix version, so 5 out of 5 for this one. Not really much to say on that. It's just a remix song in a dubstep track in a way. La Douleur qui est sans veine, if I'm pronouncing it right. I don't know if I am. Pretty much, it's a pretty strong instrumental violin track. So I really dig this track overall. Starts off with silence, but then it starts picking up as you get through the rest of the track. It is 8 minutes and 44 seconds, so keep in mind, you're in for a long song, but it's a good song. 5 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution-wise, I think Imminence, the Return of the Black, I meant to say, the original record for the standard edition, the Black, was a very strong record. I gave that a 9 out of 10. And I was still impressed with the Deluxe edition version of this record. It was another great release that I listened to for 2025 for this expanded edition of Imminence, The Return of the Black, and it was worth listening to. So if I were to give Imminence, The Return of the Black a score, another 9 out of 10 is well deserved for it. Great release, definitely worthy to be on the best albums of 2025 by the end of the year. Pretty much, Imminence has been probably a very strong band from what I've listened to. It's the only record and another re-release of this that I've really enjoyed in their discography. Still got to listen to some of their other material, but other than that, Imminence, The Return of the Black was a very strong release. So, definite 9 out of 10 for Imminence, The Return of the Black review. I hope you enjoyed this deluxe edition review for Imminence, The Return of the Black. I did the best I could to make it as good as possible, and I will be returning to you for some track reviews soon. But until then, thank you guys for watching this review this afternoon, and I'll see you in my next review.